Doing good, you? Doing great. Well, always fun to see Otson full, right? And our fans are great as always. I think a lot of things went right our way today. There's even some moments where we made mistakes and still had success. I was really proud of the fact that we got to see a lot of players in this game today. A lot of guys go out there and compete, and I think there's still a lot for us to be able to clean up and still give ourselves an opportunity to assess exactly where we're at. But overall, proud of the compete, proud of the guys never looking at the scoreboard and continue to just work and focus and overall, proud of the product.
So right here on the right was Zach.
Really efficient day from Dante today. I'm just curious what you saw from him that you liked, that you saw carry over from practice.
He's sharp. He was sharp. He knew where to go with the ball, was decisive with his reads, was able to make some checks. I thought we had a simple plan and a plan that we could execute at a high level, and he went out there and executed it really well.
Front left, James.
Yeah, when you and the staff talk all offseason about just the quality of depth that you had across the board, and you're able to showcase it even before the game got completely out of hand, does that validate a lot of the depth that you guys saw all offseason, that you were able to see it even before halftime?
Yeah, I've said it a bunch, but strength in numbers has got to be a weapon for us. And throughout the season, you never know who might go down and who might be up. And because of that, we want to make sure we get great experience for players that are playing above the line football. We've always said it, that if you're good enough, you're old enough. And if you're good enough, you'll get an opportunity to play. And we have a lot of guys that are good enough right now.
Right here on the right, halfway back.
Going along with that depth, what went into the decision to use both kickers today?
That opportunity, experience is invaluable. Both guys have done a really good job, been competitive. Gage, I think, is a guy that can be a big time weapon for us in the future. And he needed to get some of those reps, right? That's that opportunity to create that experience.
Right here on the right, Zach.
I'm not sure if you've seen the film yet, but on Gary's touchdown in the third quarter, DeCorian had a pancake block in the end zone, and he celebrated as much as Gary did the touchdown. What does that mean to you that you see true freshman wide receivers kind of taking that to heart?
I'm really proud of that play. He's blocking the wrong guy, but he's blocking his ass off. Right? So, that's what's exciting. We can make full speed mistakes, and then we can still make them full speed and do an unbelievable job for our team. That's huge. So, that's what I was proud of today, the effort, and there's still opportunities to clean up some stuff for us overall. But DeCorian's going to be a really special player for us. I don't think anybody's surprised to know that. But to see the effort and the way we talked about, you're going to tell us how much you love your teammates by the way you block on the perimeter today at wideout. And we knew this was a game that we had to outrush our opponent, right? That, and there's 6 losses that they've had over time. They haven't outrushed their opponent. That was going to be an important factor for us. So that showed up today, and those guys blocking on the edge was a big piece of that.
Right here on the left, third row.
No negative yards, no punts. The growth from scrimmage 1 till now, I guess just how proud are you of that, of your offense?
Well, it's important that we continue to grow, right? This is one step in the right direction. Certainly a better start than what we had last season. There were some changes that we made coming into the season to be prepared for those moments, but it's just one game. So I'm more excited about the growth that goes on, moving forward beyond what just happened between now and fall camp.
Right here next, Matt.
What do you make of the depth in the running back room, especially the 2 true freshmen being able to put that game away in the second half?
Yeah, I think it's really special, right? And I think that's going to be our challenge as a coaching staff when you have a lot of talent. Where do you give those snaps? Where do you give those reps? How are you creative in a way that you can keep everybody involved? And it takes guys being selfless and saying, okay, I want to see everybody eat, see the team eat, and ultimately that's going to create a lot of success for us.
Get back, left.
Kenyon played a decent amount at the X today. Is that something you see being a big part of the rotation going forward?
I think Kenyon can line up anywhere on the field and be dangerous. So we'll line him up anywhere and everywhere.
Right here, Bill. Middle.
Hey, Dan, you mentioned the start of last season. How did you guys, or what did you do to come in more prepared for this one? And then how did you use last year's game in your prep with the guys for this one?
Yeah, just ultimately what you put on film is what you're going to see the rest of the season. There were some wrinkles, some things that showed up early in the season last year that we had to deal with the rest of the season because we didn't defend it well or we didn't execute it well on offense. So I think that was a big piece of it, is realizing we call it copycats in our world, right? Things that you've given up in the past, being prepared for those in the future. And I thought we had good plans for some of those. Ultimately, I thought our volume was smaller on both sides of the ball. I thought our guys came in, ready to roll. We didn't grind them so hard in fall camp that they weren't able to go execute at a high level today.
Front left, Eric.
Going back to the running backs, can you talk about what Noah did to earn a starting job, and where does Hughes fit in the pecking order now, given that he only had one carry today?
Yeah, we got a ton of really good backs. So I'd say I want to go watch the film, but they earn it every single day in practice. We got a bunch of guys that can play winning football, and again, that's the challenge for us to figure out where does that fall. But we get to see it every single day in practice, and these guys would tell you that Noah Whittington's earned that every single day in practice, and his leadership and how he's worked.
Right here on the right. Zach.
Jeremiah credited with 2 punt blocks. What does that mean to you as a coach to have someone who, is vying for a starting role in the offense, having that impact in special teams?
Yeah, you talk about like biggest growth guys, like guys that took some of the biggest steps, and I'd say J-Mac's one of those guys that's taken the biggest step for us in his second season here. His mindset, his temperament, the way he approaches every day, special teams being important to him. So I was excited to see him out there making an impact for us today.
Right here on the left, the row.
A guy who's been around here as long as you have instantly comes out and sets the tone with a 35-yard run to instantly put you guys in their territory. How does he set the tone and kind of as a leader for that running back room?
Yeah, just in everything that he does. I mean, he's serious all the time, right? And he loves what he's doing. He loves his teammates. He works really hard at practice, and there's results on the field because of that.
On the left here.
Can you glean anything at all comparing this game to last year's game against Idaho when you had the fourth quarter was a one-possession game? Obviously, you guys recovered from that, went 13-1, but to dominate the way you did this game, can you measure that at all against?
Yeah, I mean, there's some moments I told the players today that sometimes God can teach you a lesson without having to suffer the consequences. Right? Like a good example of that today was Gary fumbling on the punt return, right? And we didn't have to pay for that, right? But that could have been. Hopefully, we can learn a lesson there without having to suffer a consequence. I think we did that last season. Sometimes adversity is really good for a team. So I don't know exactly how we're going to look in adverse moments right now, and that's something that we got to be prepared for. And there's a lot for us to be able to clean up. But it's a new season. It's a new team. We're going to get attacked in new ways. This next opponent had a little bit more time. Oklahoma State coming in, they're going to have a little bit more time to prepare for us. That might look a little different. So it's one day at a time. How can we be the best version of us today?
In the middle, Matt.
Brandon Iffy got starts at corner. Your thoughts on those two in particular, but also you rotated a ton. How beneficial is that going to be for you the rest of the year?
Yeah, I think it's really important. And again, I said it before that we have a lot of above-the-line players at that position. So the depth's important. Being able to be fresh is going to be really important, and figuring out what guys can execute when the bullets are flying is really important.
Right here, front, James.
When they're as effective as they are running the ball, and you hold them to 1.7 on the day, 2.8 adjusted for sacks, what was key to making that successful, to making that happen?
Well, it's just having a focus, right? If you go out there and have 15 goals, you're probably going to accomplish none of them, right? We went out there and we really had one goal, right? Let's control the run game on both sides of the ball.
Right here on the left.
3 touchdowns today for Jordan, a true freshman. How much is he going to factor into that running back rotation, especially using his size in the red area?
Yeah, I didn't realize there was that many, but he's proven to be a really good short yardage back for us. He falls forward. He's a good back in the field as well, and again, that goes to some of the depth that we have in that room.
Right here, front left, James.
Go back to Dante. Was there any one play, you mentioned a check you might have got into, Dan. Was there any one play, one throw, one check that stands out to you that was particularly good?
No, just the timing. One of the plays that I was most proud of is him down there in the red area. He's moving to the right, and he's got an opportunity to maybe try to punch one in and throw one in a tight window. And decisions that we've made in the past where that's been a potential takeaway or a ball in jeopardy, and he tucked it and he ran it, and we ended up kicking the field goal to go up 17. Right. So to me, that's a great decision that'll get no hoopla. He didn't make the extraordinary pass. What did he do? He protected the ball, and we walked away with points.
In the middle, Matt.
Going in that last drive of the first half, what were the takeaways from Moore's performance there?
Say it again.
Dante Moore's performance, the 2-minute drill.
I thought there was a great situation for us there. We had one timeout, limited time, right? Wanted to be able to execute at a high level, and I thought he did a really good job of that. I thought you also saw some really good wide receiver play of understanding getting out of bounds in 2 minutes. There was a lot of communication on our headset about, potential clocks, right? Potential field goals, right? We even had that. If that last play wasn't successful, we were going to try to squeeze off one more play before we call a timeout for a field goal. So that's practice showing up in a game and talking through those situations a lot. And those guys have an understanding when's the timeout going to be called, moving with the proper tempo. But they did a good job in that moment.
Back here on the left. Right here, third row.
Coach Stein talked in the offseason about utilizing other personnel other than 11 when you don't have a guy like Tez you trust out there all the time. What did you think about utilizing those heavier sets, getting the extra tight ends and running backs in there today?
Well, I think we trust a lot of the guys if they're on the field for us today, we trust them. But ultimately, when you have weapons at multiple positions, right, it makes you a lot harder to defend if you can line up in 12 and it look like 11 or 10. If you can line up in 13 and create other formations, that's a lot more challenging defensively to figure out how you're going to match up.
On the right here, Tyson, third row.
What goes through your head when you see Kenyon or Decorian hurdle the dude?
Ball security. I'm excited to go back and watch and see where the ball was at in those moments.
Last question here on the right, Zach.
You mentioned those formations, 13, 14%. What's the balance between putting those on tape for future teams to see, but also wanting to see your team execute those in a live game situation?
Yeah, there was certainly some stuff in the bag that we didn't use today, right? That we had available if we needed it, and it didn't come up to that. That was a discussion at halftime, right? There's a lot of things that we didn't run today, right? But always you want to carry enough that you can go win a game.
Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate it.
Congrats on the win.
Thank you.